Hey everybody, this is G-Man, and this week I got probably the most special guest ever. Not the President of the United States. We're not worried about the President of the United States or any other celebrity. I got the most elusive guest ever, never before interviewed that I'm aware of. I got Santa. And first of all, before we start the interview, I just want to say, Santa! Santa!
And Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
You have made a good list this year, though.
Thank you. I appreciate that because that's something I wanted to ask you about later, by the way. That's something I did want to ask you about later. But listen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just talk to Santa. We're gonna have an interview with Santa. Like I said, all the talk shows, all the tonight shows, World News Tonight, and all that good stuff. We see a lot of negativity, but Santa is the epitome of positivity. Gonna be visiting and bringing joy to all the children around the world very shortly, within the next month or so. So I know you've been busy.
We got it going on.
Nobody has ever just sat down and talked to Santa. So today we're going to talk to Santa. So first off, how you guys doing?
Great.
Man, fabulous. What are you talking about?
We are busy.
You guys got some warm weather here, though. Ooh.
You think it's, well, I guess you are from the North Pole,
man,
so
that's
yeah. So I know you've been busy because the big day's getting close. So how are you preparing? What's going on?
I'm telling you, we've got them going everywhere. Mrs. Claus basically runs the entire program, making them get everything done.
Well, the elves, they have departments. So there's bakers, there's toy makers, there's electronics people. They have all different departments, and really they work for cookies, believe it or not.
Wow.
Like where we work for money,
I
they
like
work
cookies,
for cookies. So I have to make sure we have enough sugar and flour and butter and sprinkles.
Oh, wow. So I
to
bet
make
you are
sure.
busy.
Yes.
Wow, that's
And I also help Santa with his list, and so that's a lot to keep up with.
Thank goodness.
You have it sounds like you just got a
Yes.
strict, methodical organization there.
I do.
Hey, we've got it going on. I mean, technology has been one awesome thing. Too, because of the letters they send in, I can automatically scan them in, and it goes into the computer, and we have it.
Oh wow, so it's
It's
so
so
much more
much
streamlined.
Right,
than
it
that.
is.
Wow.
Like if you wanted to know who all wanted LOL dolls, you could just put it in the computer and it would spit out all the kids that want LOL dolls.
That's a great database. I just hit it.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so awesome.
So we know how many we need to make.
Wow. So it just makes your job that much easier, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to say it's easy,
yeah.
but it is fun, you know.
So, what's a typical day like for you and Mrs. Claus in the North Pole in, let's say, your off season?
Well, you know, we really don't have an off season. We have to keep preparing. Technology and everything just moves so fast that you have to stay on it. We've got our elves always training, going to different classes where that we can be astute and know what's needed and be able to deliver on time. Hey, FedEx is good, and we learned something from them too.
Awesome.
But we do take vacations. We just went to Hawaii recently.
Santa in Hawaii. Santa
Right. So after Christmas Day is over, Santa and Mrs. Claus go on their vacation.
Hey, yes, for a little bit there, and then we're always back.
I was going to ask you, what do you do for recreation? But how did you go incognito? Did you disguise? How did you?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of people with beards, and round is a shape, and so I'm in shape. And so, I mean, they didn't think anything about it. I don't have the prettiest legs, but I sure did get a good tan.
Did you wear the suit or?
He
No,
doesn't. It's too
definitely
hot in
not.
Hawaii.
So they
so
just
to
thought you were a
see.
normal person then.
Well, really, a lot of times, the children do know that he's Santa because he has the magic. And if we go out to eat, they'll come up to the table and they'll say, "It's Santa." Or if we go to the movie theater, they'll turn around on their knees and look back at us and say, "There's Santa." Or they'll come up beside us and say, "Santa, have I been good? Have I been
We
bad?"
have a normal life that we live
Yeah.
outside, after Christmas is over. So we're not much more different than you. We love to eat, we love to entertain, and we love to stay busy and enjoy ourselves,
Oh, yeah. So when the little kids are approaching you, obviously you're on vacation, enjoying yourself, and I know they're at the other table telling their parents it's Santa, it's Santa. But when their parents don't turn around, do you ever kind of like just show them a little magic or anything?
Oh,
Yeah, all
it's
the
like
time.
this right here. I'll say, look at
Oh my goodness!
Got it.
Did you see that? That is amazing, Santa. That is amazing. So, do the parents ever get clued in? You think?
No, sometimes, when you get older, you kind of get blinded to some things. Now, there are several that aren't, but most of the time, you begin to not assimilate into that love and the magic of Christmas.
Such a shame, but I could just imagine that.
You still got it, though. I mean, you can hear the bell.
I heard the bell today.
Yes.
I heard the bell today. So let me ask you this: how many children do you think you'll be visiting this year?
Oh my goodness, it is way too many to even put a number on. I mean, we've we've got so many good children that are there, but the problem is after they get where they're at a point where they don't believe, sometimes it's harder to get things for them. And so mom and dad usually step in, but as long as they believe, we're going to always take care of them. The bad little boys and little girls, you know, they'll get some coal like this. Or if I really got a lot of bad kids, I do socks and underwear.
Or switches. A whole bag of
Socks.
switches.
I don't know which is
Oh,
worse.
goodness.
Can you show everybody that coal real
Yes,
quick?
let me see right
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry.
Yeah, if you pick that up for
Yes.
me, because
This is actual coal, guys, and
Very
very heavy. And you actually put this in. I guess they'd have to be really bad to put the coal in, though, right?
yeah, you know
Really
what?
bad.
You know what a coal turns into with pressure, right?
Ah, diamond, yes.
Diamonds.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right. So that means even if you're naughty, you can get nice. There's always hope, and you can change. Because if this piece of coal with the pressure can turn into a diamond, if you straighten yourself out, you can turn into one too.
Awesome. So, unfortunately, I know. Now, before I go there, though, I gotta ask, what do you think's worse, though? I mean, as a kid, though, coal or socks and underwear?
The coal's worse because the socks and underwear are tangible. They may not realize that they like them, but hey, Santa Claus.
Well, we
is-
know some kids on Mrs. Claus' list. They ask for socks, and a lot of them like socks with reindeer on them, and
Yes.
all different kinds of characters.
She's
They like
right.
Ren and Stimpy and all kinds of different things. If they're golfers, they like golf socks.
Okay.
So some people ask for socks, and then underwear. You know, nowadays there's all different kinds. They want Under Armour or Converse
yes, that's
underwear.
correct, that's
There's
correct.
different kinds of underwear, so it's not as bad as you would think.
In the 30s, we had the tidy whities. Now they've got all these Under Armour and
Yeah.
all these special kinds. I mean, I have never in my life. Me, Santa Claus, I'm still a tidy whitey guy. Let's just keep it that way. Don't tell nobody.
So not boxers.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, now I got to ask you about this. This is a long time ago, and I appreciate you saying I made a good list this year because I always believe. But when I was like 7 or something like that, I got. I'm sure you've seen because you make them every year. Those toys. It's like a little paddle and it's got the ball on it.
Yeah.
But in my stocking, I got one of those, but it didn't have the ball on it.
What
It was
happened
just
to
the,
it?
It's just the paddle.
You think I need to get on to the elves?
No,
Yeah.
I think, let me tell you, I do remember that incident because a lot of times when you're moving stuff around, people want live pets and everything. And if I've got a live pet in there or something on top of it, sometimes the ball will come loose. And in the bottom of my sleigh one year, there was a little rubber ball on there. I'm going to see if I can make that up to you this year.
I appreciate that. Now, my mother is on Facebook. She's going to watch this video. So, because for years, I had older brothers, and they kid me, say, "Ha, you got a paddle in your stocking," and I had to live with that all these years.
Oh, no.
Well, I remember some of those days where you did back talk your mother. And so the paddle was not what I'd intended for, but it probably served the pun well.
But kind of like that diamond you were talking about. though,
Correct.
right?
Yes, because you have turned into a diamond.
Well, maybe a ruby. Yeah. But I appreciate the diamond. I will take that. Come from Santa, of course I'm going to take it. Yeah. So, what are some of the things a child has to do to actually get on the naughty list?
Oh.
Well, I've got a list that I keep up with, and this is just an example of types of things that the children do. Like, for example, I have a little girl named Chelsea, and she lives in Connecticut, and she's nice, and the reason that I put her on the nice list is because she spoke respectfully to adults. And then we have another little girl, her name is Cody, and she's in Oregon, and she brushed her hair nice every morning. So it's just things like that when they dress themselves, and if they don't whine, things like that. If they do all their homework, they can get on the nice list. If they make pretty books for their friends, if she helped her sister learn to speak nicely, just things
Good
that are
example. She's
yes.
telling the truth right there. That is one of the best things. Even you think about Rudolph, even though he is my favorite reindeer of all, but he was made fun of and stuff. And so you don't want to make fun of people or put anybody down. Always lift them up. And that's one really good way of redeeming yourself if you ever get on the naughty list.
Well, I'm going to tell you what a lot of the reasons kids get on the naughty list nowadays is playing too much Fortnite.
Amen.
And staying on those video games and not obeying their parents and not cleaning their rooms, and then they get an attitude, and that puts them on the naughty list.
Exactly.
And then if they share, just things that we know that are good manners, that puts them on the nice list. But if they're back talking, they'll definitely be on the bad list. So all y'all little boys and girls that are back talking and pushing all your toys under your bed instead of picking them up.
Clean your room.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
have to clean your room, because with Santa, when he comes into your room at night, he's going to look to see if you're still asleep. And if he steps on one of your Legos, he's going to scream. And then he'll have to disappear quickly because you can't see Santa. So make sure your room's clean on Christmas Eve especially. And don't push everything under the bed either.
Legos on bare feet hurt.
And little dolls too. Some of these girls got these little carriages, and I stepped on that. Thankfully, I did not break it, but man, I tell you, I screamed like a little girl, but it was muffled.
Well, I know everybody wants to see Santa and everything, but you know, like I said, the only way you're gonna, you know, you need to actually go to bed, right? You need to go to bed,
Yes.
and you know, have a safe environment, because we don't want Santa to be injured, right?
Amen. I'm telling you, and even at my age, when I'm injured, it takes me longer. And we have a crackerjack medical field and doctors and nurses at the North Pole, but I still don't want to have to see them.
Might get a shot. He doesn't like shots.
Oh no.
So, have you ever been injured on the job?
Yes. I've torn a meniscus for getting out of the sleigh. By that means my knee, it's separated and I had to have it fixed.
That hurt. Slip on some ice, or what happened?
No, it was just that when I got out of the sleigh, I kicked my leg over because my boots were traction really good. And when I kicked my leg over, it just separated. And so I said, oh, and I knew immediately. I went ahead and finished the whole drive. I think it was last year. And once I got back, we got it fixed. And so, thankfully, thank the good Lord that I was able to get all right.
Yeah, but even though he's injured, he still finished. He still
That's
was able to bring
right.
all the children around the world their presents and still spread joy around the world. He finished the job even though he was injured. So,
Oh, yes.
so like you were saying though, even though they're on the naughty list, or maybe on the naughty list at some point, that doesn't mean they're going to stay on the naughty list. There is
Right.
hope as long as they do some of the things, you know, that you
Yeah,
you
the
mentioned.
good things. Mind your manners. Obey your parents. Be nice to
Take
people.
your bath.
And don't
Please.
bully.
Oh, yes.
No bullying.
No bullying.
And you kind of had an example that you were showing me earlier, I think.
Oh,
with
you're
with
talking
the
about,
rope.
yes. Let me show you this right here. This road. It's the way our life is right here. As long as you follow the rule. If you don't follow the rules, you got it like this. But as long as you follow the rules, you can just always say, all right, I'm going to stay on a straight and narrow and follow the rules. And then the minute that you lose continuity and you don't, you just automatically say, phew.
And it all falls
And
apart.
so you never want to do that. Always remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. You want to be true. You want to be honest. Even if it hurts and you get in trouble, you always tell the truth.
Follow the straight and narrow path, like he was saying.
Amen.
And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but when he was holding that rope, he was talking about being on the straight and narrow path. He had a little, looked like your thumb had lit up.
It's the magic, because you have such magic in your heart. I'm telling you, I'm amazed. Wow.
It's goodness. It's coming out.
Yes. Oh, it is too good.
And everybody has that in their heart.
If they
right?
key in on it. In other words, sometimes as we get older, we forget about it, but it can always be rekindled.
That's right. So just like it's never too late. Never too late to change, to act good, or it's never too late to believe in Santa, guys.
That's true.
So
Random act of kindness. That's the time of the year for it.
Yes, all years.
tell us a little bit about that. Like I said, how that created a chain of goodness.
Oh, you're talking about what? Well, what?
Just random acts.
Yeah, because when one does one good thing for somebody else, it catapults. There's nothing that makes you feel any better than somebody doing something good for you. And so, as good as that makes you feel, think about how much somebody else would feel by you making something good for them. You never know what anybody is going through. You may be having a pity party for yourself, but somebody else is dealing with something. If you say something positive and kind, you can change their life and change their demeanor, and you'll be blessed for it as well as them.
You heard from Santa,
Yeah.
Santa himself. You can make a difference. Now, we have been, Mimi and myself, we've just started our channel recently, and we've been dealing with a couple of arch enemies, I guess you could say.
The naysayers, the negatives. Yeah, well, that's normal.
We have a few that's really been bothering us. One's name is Drop Dead Fred.
Oh,
The,
But he is
my.
on a naughty list, you know. I mean, the thing is, but he's got hope still.
Another one named Z-Man, and one we haven't figured out yet. His name's Eb.
Oh.
I know who you're talking about.
You do?
Right,
Which one?
right. Ebb. I know Ebb right there. He's kind of mischievous and a troublemaker sometimes.
We'll have to talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But regardless, Z-Man and Drop Dead Fred are definitely in the naughty list, right?
Yes, yes.
They better be thinking of some random act of kindness really quick if they want to get on the good list.
Exactly.
They only have a few days left before Christmas.
So here,
Well, a few days in your time, it's going to be a while, and thank goodness we've got that time because we're really booking up, getting things done.
and you're kind of like a magician of time, though. Really, does time even exist for you?
Oh, well, it does, except for with the magic of Christmas, because the magic that's in their heart helps us to slow the time down, where that we're able to move much faster than the speed of light by running through here. You know, you got to pay attention when you see a streak, a falling star. It may be a star, but it may be Santa.
So, yeah, think about that. Think about that when you're just looking up in the sky. That may not be, you everything.
It's not a UFO.
It's not a UFO. It may not be a falling star, meteor.
I'm not an alien.
That's Santa zipping around here.
Yeah, and we just saw the magic light in his fingers. Just think about that whole sleigh.
That
going
was your
across the sky.
essence, is right there. Your goodness.
And I guess that light across the sky is when you're flying. It's the combined of all the
Right.
children.
Oh,
right?
exactly. One thing that I would like to tell you guys, your teacher will tell you to feed the reindeer food with glitter. Please don't put that in there anymore because it gives them gas. And man, it will clean your face real good, but it's really kind of a booger to be behind there. No glitter, please.
Yeah. Don't need any of that. So, does it ever bother you that there are so many people who dress up like you and pretend to be you?
No, definitely not. Only Jesus is omnipresent. Santa has to have helpers all the time. And usually, 90% of the time, the helpers are so good. They've got good hearts. And they love the children the same as I do. And so we've got them helping to get everything done and everything out there. So always be good. And remember, if I hear from them, I believe them too. So be good, be kind to one another.
So they kind of help you and
They
watch
do.
you.
Most
Yeah,
assuredly,
never even thought of that.
yes.
Got
Awesome.
eyes on you, here and there and yonder.
So,
The elf on the shelf's a pretty good tool also. The thing is back in the day we just used a belt because I remember that we didn't have the elf on the shelf, and if they got out of line I'd see their mom and dad giving them a good spanking. But that elf on the shelf will tattletale all about the stuff you do.
That's for sure.
some of those could be pretty mischievous too, though. Can't
We have to take them back and have them rest for the year after Christmas because a lot of times they touch them and they lose their magic, and then we have to
they?
recharge.
Okay, I have heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have heard that. So speaking of elves, so just how vast is your organization of elves? I guess.
Man, I'm telling you, Mrs. Claus, I know we've had some that have retired, and so they are really working pretty hard on recruiting some of the younger people. The millennial elves are doing fabulous. They are so techy and know so much about knowledge and electronics and stuff. I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing.
But we have to give them tests to find out where their aptitude is. Like if they would be woodworkers, so they could make wooden toys, or if they're
Toys.
crafters and they make crafty toys. Once they take the test, then we know where to put them in what department.
Okay, that is awesome. Kind of, it's almost like the military. So.
Yeah.
Not as harsh as
Not as harsh. Of course not. It's Santa.
But we
North
want them
Pole.
to be happy.
Plus, they get
Yes.
cookies all the time. So.
Yeah, but we want them to be
Oh.
happy where they're working. So
Yeah.
we find out what makes them happy, and then that's the area we let them work
Well,
in.
I mean, it sounds like a wonderful environment. I mean,
Yeah.
probably too tall, but
Hey,
is everybody happy all the time? Any complaints at all?
Well, occasionally there's a little squabble, but not very often. Because after all, they're in Santa Land, the North Pole, and they get
That's
all
where
the
it's at.
cookies they
Right.
want.
So I was watching a movie one time, and they had like candy canes growing. The land of candy canes. Does that really exist?
Well, that might have been
Candy
a little
cane
of
lane.
exaggeration. It is candy cane lane, but the candy canes are put there, and they are real. And you can lick them because if you're in that cold, they're not going to get melty or anything like
Your
that.
tongue will freeze, will it?
It will, yes, it will. So, but I mean, you got to be careful. But it's fun.
Or no magic island of gumdrops or anything like that.
Well, there's everything magical.
Yeah, because it's
everything you
magic.
can imagine
Yes.
that's magical is there, because you're the one that creates the magic. Because when you have the
It's-
thoughts
it's
about
right,
it,
the magic
then
of their
that's
heart,
how we
your
know to create it.
We were asking Santa and Mrs. Claus about their favorite, their ideal vacation spot earlier, and now I don't know if I'm even gonna get my travel agent or what, but I'm I was wanting to go to the North Pole. So
Oh, it is awesome.
It's the most wonderful place in the world.
But you guys, it would
Besides
be
heaven.
hard for you to get there because I mean, even though when you fly over it, you're never going to see it because it's underground. People are not going to be able to come in and visit the North Pole where Santa's at because if you look at it on the world globe, you will not be able to see it.
It's hidden.
Correct.
they're kind of like the Bat Cave or something like
Right.
that.
Hey,
Because we would
yeah.
lose the magic if it was
That
open
is
to
true.
everybody.
Well,
Correct.
I guess I'm
Yes.
going to the North Pole and visit Santa, unless he gives me a special invitation.
And that I may think about that too. You know, if you can break away sometime. I know you've been pretty busy too.
Well, Mimi will let me free. We'll talk about it. So, let me ask you this: what do people ask you for the most?
Oh man, this year we have really the LOL dolls for the ladies have been something that has been a phenomenon. You know, they came out 3-4 years ago, but they have really took off. They still are eating the LOL surprise up. I have a lot of electronics, iPads, music devices and stuff because
Earbuds.
yes,
Just according to the age. Each child has
computers
different.
and cell phones. I mean, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I've never
So
seen so
even
many.
some 7 and 8-year-olds think they need cell phones.
Yeah, and we're
Well,
working
how
on
about
it, but
that?
sometimes I can't fulfill that order because with technology comes a great deal of responsibility. So
And two, they ask for puppies, but then they don't know, they're not at home to take care of them. And we can't leave a puppy where somebody's not able to care for it.
oh, Santa loves the dogs
Because
and
the puppy
cats.
doesn't need to be left alone all the time. So even if they want a puppy, they might not be grown up enough yet to get one.
But we'll assess that.
Well, Mimi and myself are gone people, so
Well, we like them
But when
all.
the time is right, Santa will know.
We've got a Labradoodle. He's a white one. We call him Harley, and so he can lay in the snow and the ice, and you can't see him. And he matches my beard.
wow, that is so cool. So how do you keep from running out of supplies there at North Pole? Because of course you guys are hidden. I'm sure you have to.
Well, I have to
But-
make contracts with everybody. You have to negotiate contracts, with the people that are wood suppliers, the metal suppliers,
Paint.
the bling suppliers that have all the bling bling. So every year we kind of know, kind of like when people are going to have the flu shot, they project what's going to need to be in the flu shot for the next year. Well, I can tell by this year, kind of project what I'm going to need for next year on my supply list. And then I've also got contractors that are really good at the last minute. If I call and say, send me 1,000 cases of sprinkles, they can do it.
And I use PPG here lately with the paint. They have really done a good job of making safe paint for our children. And man, I'm talking about if I call them at the drop of a hat, they've got me cases of 5 gallons of paint because we have to spray all these things like the John Deere toy tractors and bicycles and stuff. Phenomenal. I have a great crew that helps me. A lot of industry in America and in England, Ireland, Germany, they are all on board.
See, there's Santa keeping the economy going. Now, do your contractors, do they know they're actually supplying Santa when they're...
Well, not really. We would have a cover name because, they've got an address that's shipped to them. We have to send our carriers to pick it up, to bring it to us.
And you
because
also-
we can't disclose the location.
You also want to pay them for it, and you'd be afraid that they would think they would want to do a charity because they're trying to make a living as well. And so we want to make sure that we pay them a fair price for their product because their
Right.
product's good. We've even used some Chinese products because, hey, you got to use the technology. They've got it.
They do have
And so they bring it over, and that helps us to get a lot of toys.
That's right. And
I may get some hate mail about that.
well, you have to, you have to deliver to Chinese children as well.
Yes,
That's
most
true.
assuredly.
Children all around the world.
Beautiful
So,
children.
it's one world, right?
Yes.
So-
Can I get an amen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I was going to ask you about the coal, but we did see the coal, and I'm telling you guys, you
Very
do not want
dense.
this. Do not want this in your
You would be
socket.
so disappointed if you got up Christmas morning and all you had is a great big lump of nasty, dirty coal.
And you can ask Mr. G here, if he dropped it on his toe, he would know it.
Yeah, it's very, very heavy. Trust me. So let me ask you this: how do you stay in such great shape? I mean, with all the milk, all the cookies, every house around the world, how do you stay in such great shape?
Round is a shape, and that's a great shape too, and I'm there. I'm round and in great shape. I do love the cookies, and I love to drink the milk. I do run constantly all the time. If I had one of those meters to tell how many steps I'd take, it would be burning off of the handle, so we're not going to talk about that. You just got to take care of yourself. And remember, I like all kinds of milk. I like soy milk, 2%, whole, you name it.
He just wants it cold though.
Exactly.
He doesn't like warm milk.
I got behind last year, and when I swung into the houses after I ate the cookies, I took a big gulp of milk and it was warm.
Ugh. No
Not good, huh?
No, cold milk is yummy.
Yeah, so just remember, kids, put it in the freezer or don't let it get frozen. Obviously,
No. Just in the refrigerator. Be
Okay.
good. Freezer. That'd be ice milk. I like it too.
Get it good and cold before,
Yes.
And set it up before you go to bed. Because,
Right.
obviously your parents probably want you to go to bed kind of early on Christmas Eve, but you
So do
don't want to set the milk out like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, obviously.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, speaking of cookies, peanut butter, chocolate chip, or Oreo?
Oreo.
Oreo.
I used peanut butter was my favorite back in the 30s, and then in the 50s we really went with the chocolate chip more so than anything. But I'm loving the Oreo, and they've got a new one out that is carrot cake. OMG, it is fabulous.
Let me tell you a funny story of what Santa did one time. He ate a bunch of Oreos and then he went to the dentist and opened his mouth and he had black all in his teeth. And he said, "Doctor, look, in my mouth I've got so many cavities." And when he opened his mouth, the doctor said, because he thought all that black in his teeth was cavities. He just did it as a practical joke.
It was mischievous.
Yeah. So Santa sometimes can get mischievous too.
Put it on the naughty list.
No, I'm
Well, he
keeping my
was
own
on the
list.
naughty list for a day or two over
I'm
that.
keeping my own list.
And checking it twice, right?
Exactly.
So, with the Oreos, so you kids remember this, but double stuff, single, mint, what?
All Oreos.
All Oreos. Okay.
This year I may change after this Christmas season because,
But he likes chocolate chips too. That's his second.
yes.
Second most favorite.
and then peanut butter.
Yeah. You like cookies, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just cookies.
Right.
So.
Hey, I am the cookie monster of the North Pole.
Macadamia nut?
Oh
I'm not
yes,
macadamia.
yes. Oatmeal, raisin. Oh, you name it.
Now, you mentioned, did you say carrot cake?
Yeah.
They've got some new Oreo cookies out.
Wow.
They have carrot cake. in the
Carrot
inside.
cake Oreo.
Yeah, they're carrot cake.
So, if you want something, if you're just trying to, butter up Santa a little
I
bit.
can feel my belt getting tighter as I'm thinking about it.
It's gonna be a good night for. It's gonna be a good night for you. But let me ask you this: that when I say a good night, that's actually more than 12 or 24 hours because of the time zones, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
you're
But
actually
that's when your time gets into a perpetual
It's
motion
kind of like time travel.
and you slow it down too with it. I can move faster, and you guys are barely moving, but you don't realize how slow you're going because it helps me to get all the toys to the good little boys and girls of the world.
So how fast can you get in and out of a house? And so say you got a full bag of presents just for one child. How fast are you in and out?
You'd be surprised. All I got to do is turn my bag upside down and shake it, and it falls right into place. I twitch my nose, and I'm in and out. If they don't have a fireplace, I've got, whoop, look at that. I got the coal on I've got a magic key that will help me to get into their house.
It's everybody's house.
Lickety split. I'm in and out and take care of you guys without a doubt. Oh.
So don't try and stay up trying to wait for Santa because you're not going to catch him. That minute that you blink and you're snoozing,
Boom.
Santa's in and out. So how's Rudolph doing these days? He's got to be getting pretty old reindeer years.
Let me tell you, he is fabulous. He is in good shape. The magic and the love of these children all over the world have kept him as young and unbelievably in shape that you would not believe it. If I tell you a secret, he's got a lot of offspring, but we don't talk about that. And some of them even got the red nose.
Oh, me.
Wow.
So we got some reindeer junior, Rudolph juniors.
Exactly. You may hear about it later.
He's still leading the sleigh, right?
Oh, most assuredly.
Awesome. That is so awesome. So all year, and especially this time of year, kids are writing you, and this time of year they're meeting, your helpers at stores and everything, and they're telling you what they want for Christmas. So what would you want for Christmas?
Oh my goodness. The biggest thing that myself and Mrs. Claus would want is for you guys to know the true reason for Christmas is that Jesus Christ is the reason for the season.
Yes, he is.
We're celebrating his birthday. And remember, if you keep Christ in your heart, you'll be on that straight and narrow. And when you lose focus, you will just crumble down, but you can always be redeemed. And be nice and be kind to all the children and adults of the world. Love you guys. Oh, 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 oh.
Now I understand you got a shout out for a few kids.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, I've heard a lot about him. I want to talk about Mason and tell Merry Christmas, Addie, Brooklyn, Bryant, Maddie, and I'm trying to think of the little 6-month-old young lady. Her name is Taitlin, and if she doesn't learn how to spell that good, there's going to be a problem. Oh, Santa Claus would have been in kindergarten 2 years with a name like that. And Parker and Jameson, I'm watching you guys.
Yeah.
Remember, pick up your toys, obey, and be kind to one another. I love you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 ho.
All right, and one final thought. What would you like to say to all the kids around the world?
I love you guys. I'm watching out. Mrs. Claus will argue for you like an attorney to get you on the good list. I want to make sure that you do know that you control your destiny. So be good. I'll see you on Christmas Eve. Ho, ho, ho.
Thank you, everybody. Santa, I can't tell you how appreciative we are to have you here on the G-Man and Mimi show. It's an honor. It's an honor just to meet you to begin with.
We just
And,
wouldn't miss it. We were excited whenever you come.
I am so excited.
I mean, the thing is, I think you're going to have so many more followers because we follow it in the North Pole.
That is awesome to hear that.
And
Hit the like, subscribe.
one thing we do like too is red licorice.
Red licorice. I see what you're saying. Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
You can't beat Twizzlers. Those rainbow ones aren't too bad. But listen, like I said, it's just, you have no idea. It's an honor because I know you could have did Dateline, CNN, Fox. You could have did anything you wanted to. But you're here on the G-Man and Mimi show. It's an honor, never before. And I don't care if we're supposed to be professional or not. This is Santa.
Oh,
my whole life. Santa.
Hey, and it's your heart. You and Mimi are so good, and you have the right track on things, and that's the reason we could not.
Thank you. It's
turn
an
it down.
honor.
Be good. Be blessed.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.